Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me and my very special guest from the Actors Fund, the organization that serves all professionals working in the entertainment industry since 1882. Please say hello to the president and CEO who has been with the fund since 1989, Joe Benincasa. And please say hello to the chairman of the board, now serving his 16th term, Tony Award winner, Brian Stokes Mitchell. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you?
Joe, you start. You've got the years on me, so I think you should.
I do have the years on you. I think we're doing very well in this very, very crazy time, and we're just focused on doing as much good as possible for people who are suffering and having a tough time.
Yeah. Well, first I want to ask you two, where are you and how are the two of you? Let's start there. So, Joe, we'll start with you. Where are you coming from today? Where are you StreamYarding from, and how are you in the family?
I'm at home in Lambertville, New Jersey, not far from the Delaware River, across the river from the Bucks County Playhouse. This is my family home. This is where we raised our kids, and so we've all retreated here and carved out our space.
So, who's with you now?
I have my wife Nancy. It's her birthday today, which is a big deal, and I'm cooking tonight, so that's going to be an exciting adventure because you never know what I'm going to come up with. But I have our 8-year-old granddaughter with us, and my oldest son with us, and my other son is in Brooklyn with his girlfriend right now. So we're spread out a little bit, doing a lot of Zoom family meetings with the Brooklyn crowd, and with our family spread out all over the country. And
you got a menagerie of pets there too, don't you?
Yeah, we have 2 cats and a dog, and right now that dog is licking my toes. Okay,
I love it.
My adopted from Broadway Barks. All of our dogs in recent years have been adopted from Broadway Barks. So we love the dogs, and we love the cats, and we love the chickens in the backyard.
I love Dr. Doolittle. Stokes, where are you, and how's the family?
Everybody is well. Thank you very much. I'm here at our place on the Upper West Side. This is my office / dressing room / studio. This is where actually I've recorded all of the vocals on my last 3 albums, and I do a lot of the mixing and a lot of the work here as well. And still, it's a work in progress. I'm always moving things around, and you can see I'm about to paint the wall, or I was about to a number of months ago. And then, so now that still reminds me that once everything opens up again, I'll have to throw the new paint on the wall as well. But that's why all the instruments are behind me and everything.
Well, this is the new now between StreamYarding and Zooming. Everybody's checking out paintings and pictures behind where everybody is, so it's quite interesting.
Yeah, and sorry about my mess over here too. That's my next project. That's all my music and my shelves over there. And that's the thing. Everybody sees your dirty laundry too, so. But oh well, that's where we are. We live in a more truthful time. Is that such a bad thing?
No, I love that. We are now in our 132nd day of quarantine. Think of that number. I mean, how have you both been dealing and getting through the quarantine as it progresses? Joe, I'll start with you.
I think the organization, we went remote very quickly. We converted all of our, how you request help from the Actors Fund to an online process. So, it's one click away from the homepage. So we're encouraging as many people to easily apply for financial assistance. And it's terrific. The website is very friendly and it's terrific, and we encourage everyone to go to it. Already, Richie, we provided more than $14 million to over 12,000 people who need direct financial assistance. And we're projecting that we'll be providing up to $25 million by the end of the year. So we know it's the marathon. How we deal with the pandemic at the Actors Fund is a marathon, not a sprint. And, we launched our Every Artist Insured. We know that a big crunch will come in the fall as people working in our community lose their health insurance. We have a beautiful healthcare center in partnership with Mount Sinai and Times Square. But we are focused on helping people sustain the health insurance they have, or to help them get new health insurance through the marketplace. As navigators under the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, we've been very active in this area. The third area that we're really focused on is the COVID economy, working to create opportunities for people who are working in the arts, devoted to the arts, who's work on stage, backstage, front of house, so they can develop opportunities for income to complement what they're doing. We're all waiting breathlessly for what Congress will do in terms of the extension of unemployment insurance and also what they're going to do in relation to COBRA subsidy. Will the federal government step in to help with COBRA subsidy? We hope that unemployment insurance is continued at the current rate, and we certainly hope that the federal government and state government step in to offer COBRA complements, supplements, to health insurance.
Yeah, we'll elaborately talk about all of that. Stokes, when all this first happened, you came down with COVID-19 right away, didn't you? Like when this all started?
Yes, but not on purpose.
Yep.
It was quite a surprise, actually. When this all started, I think like many people, I had all of these great plans, like, finish painting my office, and get myself organized and all these. I thought, okay, finally, I'm going to have the time to do some other things. And, almost right away, because I had it early on, it was late February, early March. So I was, among the first in the Broadway community, but not the only, certainly, that dealt with it. And at that time, there were just a lot of things that weren't in place, in the hospitals. And I had a pretty bad case of it. But thanks to Dr. Jason Kint at the Friedman Health Center that the Actors Fund runs, he was on the phone with me all the time, and just amazing, because so much medicine is happening now like this telegenically and or on the phone. And he was just really, I just cannot say enough about Jason, about our healthcare center and the people that are working there and the dedication, because they really did get me through it. I was on the phone with him on one evening and my fever had spiked up to 104.8. And I said, should I go to the hospital now?
Yeah.
And he said, well, can you breathe? I said, yeah. He said, are your lips blue? I said, no. He said, do not go to the hospital under no circumstances, because especially at that point, the hospitals still weren't set up for it. They didn't have, the COVID, entry or a ward or anything like that. They were still trying to figure out what it was. And he said, there's nothing they can do for you. You could get a secondary infection. They're not set up. They don't know what to do. And he said, but if it's life-threatening, that's when you want to go. Unfortunately, I was being taken very good care of by Allison, my wife, and my son Ellington as well. And so, I didn't need it, and things got better and better, and of course with Dr. Kint's good care as well.
So, did you quarantine yourself in the apartment away from Allison and your son?
Yes, yeah, we absolutely. Before that, because Allison and I were doing a Love Life at the City Center. And we got shut down along with the rest of Broadway about 4 days before we were supposed to open. And during that time, I had a low-grade sinus infection. And so I was a little concerned about that. So already I was being cautious around the family because I didn't want to give them that. And I think that was an advantage, because I thought, just in case, I don't want to give them this, or I don't know, because nobody knew what COVID was like then. I mean, that was one of the big questions, and one of the reasons I wanted to go public with it, because people were thinking, well, what happens? What if I get it? What will it be like? Will I die? Will I be in the hospital? How do I know when it, all of those questions that we still have, many, many questions. I wanted to be able to help answer for some other people as well. So, but what we did, we washed our hands, we wore masks. I was isolated in the house, and everybody else stayed safe. And Allison was, incredible with keeping things washed down and everything. And so they remained safe and unaffected.
Because that was the last time I saw you at that rehearsal.
Yes, it sure was. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
And you told me that day, you said, I think I'm a little under the weather or something. You were telling me before we started our interview.
Yeah.
That day, yeah.
I forgot about that, because that was 132 years ago.
Totally. Well, Joe, I want to talk to you about the Samuel J. Friedman Health Center for the Performing Arts. I mean, that helped Stokes and so many other people. Let's talk about that, what it does for people in all professionals working in the entertainment industry, and how they moved into the COVID-19 so quickly. Talk about what it does.
Historically, back in the late 90s, we started a free healthcare center with Columbia Presbyterian. We've always had provided some healthcare services, but 4 years ago, we started big time partnering with Mount Sinai in that entire network of hospital and medical services connected to Mount Sinai. They're sort of Broadway's healthcare center. The Friedman is just beautiful. It's Jason Kent, our medical director. All of his colleagues are focused on the special needs of people working on Broadway and in the arts, whether they're stagehands, on stage, again, backstage, front of house. And they've converted very quickly to telemedicine and to telehealth. Right next door to us, we also created a physical therapy center. And
Oh,
being an old baseball player from college, I've always had a shoulder problem. And every other day, I've been doing my physical therapy with a terrific physical therapist, and I'm feeling great. I've been in and out of the healthcare center, just checking on things. They're doing well. Everyone's masked up. Our medical assistants are doing great, and they're very brave. And again, they try to keep people comfortable away from them and away from the healthcare center. But the extraordinary measures that Jason has instituted at the healthcare center makes people feel, if they need to come in by appointment, feel safe and secure. So they've been great. We can't say enough about them, can we, Stokes?
We cannot, and I second everything that Joe said. And as somebody who, like Joe, has experienced it, but especially having experienced it through COVID, just seeing how careful they are there, and just it's just really great care. Everybody cares so much. They're sensitive, and they know the performing arts community as well, and they know the issues that we have. So even outside of COVID, when things get back to some semblance of normal, it's a really amazing place to go to, because that was the whole idea about it, and it's right in the middle of the theater district as well. So, but people can come to us, and the doctors and everybody caring for everyone there knows the problems that performers have and understand those. And so it's an amazing benefit to have a place like that, just period.
Yeah. It's just one of the many things that the Actors Fund does, because, very few people could right now, they can't pay rent. They don't know when their jobs are going to come back, but, and just going to a doctor costs a fortune. So it must be so wonderful what the Samuel J. Friedman Health Center does, just knowing for professionals, Joe and Stokes, in this business, that is there for them to use and call and get help.
Yeah, and one of the things too that Joe was talking about, how much money has gone out. Just to put it in perspective, normally we put $14 million now. We've been out since, March 23rd, I think, Joe, somewhere around there. But normally in a year we would help people with about $2 million for the full year in emergency assistance. So now here we are, just a few months. What are we? March, April, May, June, July. Time is
totally.
Somebody said to me, "Oh, every day is Blur's day," and that's what it's like. I can't keep anything straight anymore. Now where was I going with that? See, now my head is mush. Do you guys feel like your head is mush too sometimes?
Oh, totally. It's like you have so much stuff up there or nothing up there, and it all falls out. You were talking about the usual amount of money you give out at this time of year. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So here we are, just a few months later, and we've given out 7 times that amount at this point, and it's not going to stop. And I have to say, it is a testament to Joe and the staff of the fund that they have been so incredibly well prepared. The way that Joe has prepared the staff there, everybody's working safely from their homes or other locations as well, and still we're able to help people out in the way that we always were, and in a way more than ever before now, particularly with the Emergency Assistance Fund. But meanwhile, all the other programs that we have are also still going ahead.
Joe, I want to congratulate you, because you did this very, very fast. You did this at the very, very beginning of all of this. There are so many people who still can't catch up. A lot of organizations can't catch up. But, the entertainment industry is always the first ones there for everything. So kudos to everybody at the Actors Fund. But what was it like early on of just trying to get it all structured and put it all together with everything changing around, not knowing what COVID was going to be and everyone losing their jobs? Like, what were the first things you focused on, Joe, and what moved you forward with the Actors Fund?
We have never experienced anything like this. None of us have, first of all. But when I recall Sandy and how we responded to crisis, in California, the fires, how we responded to crisis, then the new technologies we found to deliver financial assistance to people through Zelle or through Quick Pay or things like that. After 9/11, you know, I remember how we all felt after 9/11, and it was, so we've always been prepared. If there's a strike, we're not a strike fund, but when there's a strike, it affects everybody in the entertainment community. So we've always been prepared for disaster, and we've always anticipated disaster. And we were well prepared this time to respond. We didn't know exactly how we were going to respond, but we responded quickly. And, just hats off to everyone on our staff, especially Barbara Davis, our Chief Operating Officer, who converted, and our John Torres, our head of IT, who converted and David Engelman, who you know quite well, Richie, who converted the website to this very fast, one-click way, here's how you get help. So I think, so we were prepared. We've been through crises before, nothing like this, but other crises did prepare us for this. And I just want to mention the nursing home, and maybe you want to get to that later on, but our administrator there, Jordan Stroll, very well prepared, and we've done very well. In fact, we're doing a major project we're getting ready to launch now to further pandemic-proof the facility so that it is the safest nursing home in the country.
But the interesting thing was, yours was the safest nursing home in the country all during this. I mean, it really, really was. We'll start talking about that. Talk about the different residences that the Actors Fund has around the country and what they do. Either of you can take this.
Joe, you want to, since you're on,
I'll run.
jump in when I.
Okay. Well, the nursing home, we just finished a $34 million expansion and renovation last year, and it's really quite beautiful, and it's a wonderful place. We operate affordable housing in Brooklyn and Manhattan. A couple signature buildings are the Friedman residence at West 57th Street and 10th. The other is in Brooklyn, the Skirmahorn residence, which has a theater in it, which is really beautiful. In West Hollywood, we have the Palm View residence, and we're getting ready to break ground for a $125 million project in downtown Hollywood in October. We secured $110 million for that, and have another 15 or 17 million. We're never quite sure what the cost of concrete will be. Okay, but but we have a good idea of where we're going with it. So one of the things I like to say is that the staff, we always are concerned about taking care of our staff and our key volunteers, making sure that they're well supported so they can do their work. And so our HR people are working overtime to make sure that people are getting the health care they need, the mental health care they need, which is a big issue right now, how people are dealing with stress and anxiety of the time. So, but we are chewing gum and walking at the same time. All of our other activities are moving forward. New activities are being created. We're expanding our webinars and all of our group activities on Zoom. I mean, just last week, we convened all of our young performers, in New York City for a special Zoom meeting with special guests to talk about, hey, what are you guys doing now that you're not auditioning, you're not working, or you're auditioning online? What are the changes in your life? So, we are moving forward as best we can. But we know that there's a lot we don't know. So we are waiting to see what happens again in Congress, waiting to see what happens in the fall, waiting to see what happens in the spring. Hopeful that the theaters reopen safely, and they will only reopen safely because we know the quality of the leadership on Broadway, at the unions and theater owners. We know it's going to open safely. And when that happens, that'll be a happy day.
One of the most difficult things about the situation, I think, for everyone, and Joe and I talk about this all the time, is that from the beginning, this virus has presented more questions than answers. and we're all just trying to figure things out as we go along. We just don't know enough about anything, and we get new information and it changes. And so it's really important for an organization like the Actors Fund. And again, that's why I give such kudos to Joe and the staff there and everyone, and our board as well, who have been very facile and allowing things to happen and helping to make these changes happen as well. It's really important, I think, that organizations stay on top of these questions, because the only way we can plan is to understand what the questions are, see what answers we have. But one of the things that I think is kind of wonderful about this organization as well is, and I've said this to Joe, we've talked about this a little bit, is it feels like the last 138 years that we've been in existence have been this wonderful preview, time for where we are now. It's prepared us for like Sandy, as Joe was mentioning, and a number of other disasters and things that we've had to deal with. They've prepared us for this mother of all disasters in a way that we're able to kind of meet the challenges head on and meet the questions head on. Even though we may not have answers, we have some options, and we have a structure for figuring out how to deal with them. But it really feels like, to me, maybe this is one of the reasons the Actors Fund is here on the planet. I kind of believe that really about all of us. And I say that to each individual listener that is looking at your show as well. There's a reason that you are here on the planet right now. It may seem like a terrible time to pick to be on the planet right now, but we are here for a reason. And I think that we all have the option to be a part of the problem, a part of the solution, or to remain neutral in the middle and not really do anything. But I see that more as part of the problem. Right now, what we see is a lot of people being very, very active in all kinds of things, not only in the coronavirus, but also in the social issues that have come to the fore as well. And it's really great seeing people step up to the plate. So this is the time to be a part of the solution, and I think that's what is all of us at the Actors Fund hold in common, is we really want to help in whatever ways we have, because we're in this kind of unique position where we can help so many people and have successfully been doing it thus far over the last few months, and we hope to continue that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, I can't believe the amount of money you have given already to people in need. I mean, that's so wonderful what the Actors Fund has done already. I'd love for the two of you to focus on what are some of the things that you're focusing on for the next few months. I mean, please explain what Every Artist Insured, what that program is, how it all got kicked off.
Adjacent to our healthcare center in Times Square is Every Artist Insured. We are focused. Everyone who comes in, anyone who calls us, one of our first questions is, do you have health insurance? Are you worried about losing your health insurance? What are your work weeks like if you're a member of Equity or AFFM or IA or whatever entertainment union you're a member of? So our goal is to make sure that people know the status in relation to health insurance. We're going to help you keep your health insurance or secure health insurance, through the marketplace, through the Affordable Care Act. So our focus is to help keep everybody insured and to help them get insurance if they don't have insurance. And if for some reason they go without insurance for a time, we're going to provide free health care. We want no one to be out of health care. We don't want no one to say that I'm just going to show up at the emergency room, and hope that they'll treat me well, and then who knows what I'm going to be billed, and what I'm going to spend. So we want to cover people. We want to make sure they are confident that if they have a problem, they can come to us.
I realize, Richie, that most of your viewers are smarter than the average bearers, but a lot of the general public that isn't theater savvy or into the arts in this way, they don't understand that most performers, most artists, really, in not just performers, but when I say the Actors Fund, of course, is not just about actors. It covers crew members, dancers, singers, camera people, producers, script supervisors, anybody in the entertainment community who has made their living doing this. And but one of the things that a lot of people, I think, don't understand that aren't in our business is that most of us are gig workers. We go from job to job. And our health insurance is dependent on the jobs that you work. So, and right now, I mean, look at Broadway, for instance. There are like 100,000 people, I believe, that work on Broadway, and their health insurance would be dependent on the jobs they're making on Broadway or in the theater, in the regions as well, because even the regional theaters aren't working right now. And nobody's working, which means you don't have the means to get health insurance. And it's the same thing with the Screen Actors Guild as well. It's dependent on the jobs that you've made. You have to make a certain amount of money. And that's the big challenge we're facing right now. And that's why we have every artist insured. That's why it is in place.
See, that's great, because everyone, Joe, I'll let you add in, but I've been speaking to a lot of actor friends and musicians on the street, because I only go out one day a week. I only go out on Tuesdays in my mask, in my gloves, in my hat to do shopping, but I run into people and they're like, Richie, I have no insurance. My insurance is running out. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. It's like no one knows when anything is going to come back. So, it's so great that this is here from the Actors Fund for everybody who works in the business, that you'll help them maneuver through all of this with this program. Absolutely.
And we're focused on it. We have been focused on it. This has a greater urgency than ever. So we are really grateful to our lead supporter, Broadway Cares Equity States, because they funded the lead gift in this program of $1 million at a time that organization is also dealing with the unknown. There are no audience appeals in the theaters, but they made a tremendous commitment to the Actors Fund, to help expand and promote this program. And we're securing more funding to make sure that we can keep it going, have the greatest people in the world trained as navigators in the program, the greatest healthcare counselors. And we do have the greatest team, the greatest staff in the world.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful. Also talk about navigating employment options in a COVID economy. That's something else that's on the website too, which sounds fascinating. What is that program?
It's centered in our Career Center. And the Career Center has always been a place for people to turn to help develop a second career, to assess their skills. If you're not succeeding in something that you're devoted to doing, whether it's writing, being a playwright or an actor, you can come to us and we'll help assess your opportunities for a complementary career or a second career. That program has expanded dramatically in the past 3 years under the leadership of Christopher Bloodworth. And right now we are doing webinars, one-on-one Zoom counseling with people. There are opportunities there for people who are trained, who are well-trained as people in the arts. And, there are no more resourceful people than people working in theater, because there's just no more the people that are most resourceful in the world, because they've always had to balance things. And as Stokes mentioned earlier, it's a gig economy. You may be in a hit show for a couple of years, or you may be in a TV series, but maybe it ends and you're looking for the next thing. So our Career Center is particularly well positioned to help people in that gig economy assess their skills and to find employment or complementary employment or sometimes new careers. We're working on projects right now in which we're hoping to announce a few new programs that will be made available to people who are participating in a Career Center. I can tell you last week we had webinars and 300 people participated. We have 500 wonderful candidates for positions that we're trying to identify now, working with the Department of Labor and with and with some other great philanthropic supporters. So it's people in our community are the most resourceful in the world, and we want to help them find, other employment or complementary employment.
And we have to be especially creative now because something else that a lot of people outside of our industry don't realize is the backup jobs for most people in our industry, which are waiters, waitresses, bartenders. Those have also been shut down as well. So we're really trying to be creative in as Joe was saying, when you're working with artists it's all about coming up with new ideas and new ways of seeing not only the world but your own self and your own path as well. So it's one of the great things is being able to work with people that are open to these ideas and might have ideas to share that we haven't thought about as well. It's really important to do that, but you know, we've got this kind of double hit because the primary job has been knocked out, and for in most cases, the secondary jobs have been knocked out as well.
See, this is what I don't think the government understands. I mean, I know that the House right now is all saying, you know, the Republicans saying, oh, you know, we're giving them that extra $600, keeping everybody at home. There are no jobs for anybody working in the entertainment industry to have. Like you said, there are no restaurants, there are no bartender jobs. There's nothing out there.
Yeah.
And what I think what's great for people to understand also is how much the entertainment industry, not just in New York, but all over the country, feeds other businesses like the hotel businesses, the restaurant businesses, all of those things where, you know, especially in New York, it's a great example of that, because people come here to see a Broadway show. And as a result, they stay in these hotels, they eat in restaurants, they go to different tourist attractions, they take the airlines to get here. You know, there's all kinds of ancillary businesses that are actually fed by Broadway, but the arts in general. I mean, that's true in every community and every place that you go where you have a theater. There's usually a vibrant community that surrounds those theaters that are there, and they're thriving because of the theaters and the work that they're doing. So the arts in our economy as a country are incredibly important and incredibly vital. And right now they're all under siege as well. So it's really important to keep opening people's eyes so that they realize how important the arts are. I mean, look at what we're all doing right now. What are we doing as we're stuck in our house? We're glued to television, and we're looking at Netflix and Hulu and television shows and looking at work of artists. Not just the actors, the camera people, the script people, the producers, the directors, all of the people that you don't see, the people who score it, the people who orchestrate it, the instruments, the musicians who are playing the instruments on all of these things. These are all the people that the Actors Fund supports as well. But these are also all of the people that I think a larger group of people need to understand. This is who the arts are, and this is why we're important. We would all be going crazy right now. I would be going crazy if I were locked in my house and we didn't have, you know, these artists to depend on like that. And even something like people are playing video games, you know, who makes that? You don't play code, you play the art that's there. It's the artists that are making those engaging as well. So one of my other kind of side ventures I'm doing here now is to kind of help people, and I say civilians, I call them the people that aren't working in the arts world, understand how much the arts are in their lives, how important the arts are in their lives. And that's why I'm so excited, and I feel so honored to be chairman of this organization that is helping artists in times of need, and also helping the people, in many cases, the shoulders that I stand upon. You know, those are people that are in need and that have taught me, and I'm able to not only honor them, but I can pass the good fortune that I've had forward. Yeah, beautiful. Joe, do you want to add something to that?
I do want to add one thing too. There's so much. You know, in addition to watching all the, you know, cable and all the new media, we're also watching a lot of fundraising events that are being, you know, streamed online for the Actors Fund. And we're so grateful to Rosie O'Donnell for the first one, and to Seth Rudetsky and James Wesley on Stars in the House, which goes on every night, sometimes twice a day, and all the other streaming. And the fact that almost 3 million people watched a replay, basically, of our live concert of Bombshell, you know, a couple months ago, was kind of incredible. And the resilience of the producers and the people who are putting things together, like Jason Howland and what he did with the beautiful cast, these things are just absolutely remarkable. And the creativity is coming out and bubbling over. You know, back in April, a few years ago. That's when we were going to have two big events in April. We were going to have our gala. Among our honorees was our chairman of 15 years, Brian Stokes Mitchell, okay, who was one of the 5 big honorees. We're doing that gala virtually on November 2nd, and we're fortunate that everyone who joined to do the gala back in April in person, is stuck with us, and we are going to be adding a lot of interesting features to this gala on November 2nd. The other is the also ragtime. There's going to be more about ragtime, and we're going to wait to announce that once Stokes and Audra and all of us put things together. That may not happen in person until next year, but there's going to be something this fall talking about ragtime. Stokes has been so focused and dedicated to raising money and promoting the important diversity ideas that are represented in that show. I think it's more important now what that book is about, what that show is about, and we need to talk about it this fall and next year and forevermore as we have a heightened understanding of the 400 years of systemic racism in our society. I want to add one more thing too, and that is so those 2 events in April, we're moving forward. I can't wait till they happen. When I was talking to our general manager, the Marriott Hotel is one of our donors, and that's where we typically have the Marriott Marquis in Times Square, our annual gala in person, also our Career Transition for Dancers Gala. I was on a meeting with Marriott, with United Airlines, a few of our other partners, and the general manager of Marriott says, Joe, I have a great hotel, but no one stays in my hotel because it's a great hotel. They come to my hotel because of Broadway and because of performers. And I know that I'm going to be out of business until Broadway, or not doing much business until Broadway is back.
Like you said, everything in New York City, of course, but every city across the United States that has theaters or hotels and restaurants, the arts make everything thrive. Like you said, Stokes, everything moves into the next. People come to a show, they go to a restaurant, they fly into town, they stay in a hotel. So, that's the most important thing about the arts. The other amazing thing that's happened during this time is during this entire pandemic, people are finally speaking up. People are using their voices for everything. Stokes, please talk about Black Theater United Coalition, how that all came about. What a wonderful organization. How did this all come about?
Oh, thanks, Richie, for asking about that. The Black Theater United is a group. There's, I think, 19 of us. It kind of started with Audra McDonald talking to Shelley Williams, that spectacular director, and LaShawne's, actually. It kind of started as kind of a casual conversation, and then this idea started taking hold, and it said, well, let's call so-and-so, and we've all been friends. It's interesting because Audra had mentioned that, casually, she said, well, I think, between all of us, we have more than 500 years of experience on Broadway together. But what I love about this group is there's just Zoom meetings, sometimes, the last thing you want to be on is a Zoom meeting. And I have to say that the BTU Zoom meetings that I've been on are just so incredibly wonderful. To see the people on the screen, that experience, the incredibly creative ideas that are coming across as well. Because what happened, of course, is everybody seeing what happened with George Floyd, in front of them. And let me just go on off a tangent. So bring me back, because again, my brain's mush. There are, and I hate to use the word advantages or pluses because that's way too generous to use for something like a pandemic like this. But there are always, opposite things that happen on the other side. So one of the terrible things, of course, was that we had all this time to sit in front of our televisions at home. And so people witnessed what happened to George Floyd in front of their eyes. Now, this is something Black people have known about, been talking about for years and years and years. But others who didn't understand that had the opportunity to see this horrific event happen. But the other side of that was nobody had the opportunity to go, oh, wow, that was terrible. Okay, let's go out for a drink. Okay, let's go to the movie now. Okay, let's do, so-and-so. because we were still stuck in our houses. And so it allowed time for people to be in their own thoughts and to be in their own reflection and to start questioning not only what they saw, but what's my place in this? What's our country's place in this? What can be done about this? And then seeing how everything has progressed. So Black Theater United is a kind of a progression of that as well. I think everybody that has been involved with Black Theater United, the founding members, and we have a number of other members that have been come forward and allies as well. If people go to blacktheaterunited.com, they can join there. We've got lots of incredible events. We just did an event with Sherilyn Ifill, and we have one coming up with Stacey Abrams and her sister as well, talking about the census. But we realize this is an opportunity, even though we have all been battling and fighting for equality and these issues. This was a great opportunity for us all to come together, people with like minds, like heart, similar experiences, and really, as a group, do something about this systemic racism that we're seeing on all kinds of levels, not only on we're calling on a macro level and a micro level as well. So in the country, in our cities, in our towns, in our theaters, and it's kind of every place. So we're trying to be a part of the solution. As well. That's the important thing here. So we have lots of discussions and lots of things that are going on, and lots of discussions that are I think going to will produce some very great fruit. But the important thing that we all see is that this is a big commitment, and Joe and I talk about this all the time too, and now it's how the Actors Fund feels about it as well. This is a long-term commitment. This is not something you just see, and then once we get a vaccine, or once everything returns to whatever normal is going to look like, that we forget what we've been through and what's been happening and what's been going on. This is a long-term commitment. Once you see something like this, you can't unsee it. Once you've acknowledged your own issues, maybe it's your own racism or your own ignorance or whatever that is, once you've acknowledged that, and it's what's so wonderful is so many people now seeing that and recognizing that and saying, what can I do now? Help, I don't know what to do. Once you've seen it, the important part is keep progressing, keep moving forward with it. Don't abandon that. Now we're in a wonderful place looking at young people, looking at the protests that are going on, all colors, all ages. It's everybody coming together saying this needs to be fixed. This is not right. And BTU is hopefully a part of that solution as well. We have a kind of a unique voice because of our experience and what we are, and we want to use our platform and our voices and the influence that we have fortunately been able to gain over our lives to help the greater world and the greater society in our country and our fellow Americans.
Yeah. Talk about the importance of everybody using their voice. I mean, one voice turns into 10 voices, which turns into 100 voices, which turns into 1,000. Talk about the importance of that. What this pandemic has done is what both of you have said. It's let people sit and be in the now, be connected, because we can't be connected, seeing you in person. So we can connect this way and say, what can I do for change? What can I do? How can I move forward with this time I have?
Well, you just said it better than I think. I mean, I could. Joe, you may have another, but the way you said it, one turns into 10, turns into 100, turns to 1,000. It's, what a democracy is about. It's not about one person's voice and what one person wants. It's about all of us getting together and meeting and compromising. And, we want to meet in the middle is what we want to do. There's people that have ideas on the right. There's people that have ideas on the left. What we can do is come together. One of the other things Joe and I talk about all the time, it's why the Actors Fund works so well. It's why the theater works so well. It's why the arts works so well. One word. Here's the secret. Collaboration. Yeah. Everybody has a common goal. Like I look at the theater and I think, how could that possibly work? What was it? Shakespeare in Love, where he says it's a miracle. It's a miracle. Yeah. And it's like that because you have all of these people, disparate skill levels, not levels, everybody's a master of what they do, but disparate skills. They come from disparate parts of the world. There are different political parties. They have different beliefs, different religions, different everything, but everybody's coming together for a common goal to put on this show. And we all listen to each other and we collaborate. And sometimes we fuss and argue with each other, but it's all for the same end. And that's what I see is happening. We have this wonderful chance for a reset in our country, in our art form, in so many things right now. Nature, again, if you look at, is there a plus to this? Well, I wouldn't call it a plus, but if there's something that we could take advantage of and be aware of, it's that we have this amazing reset that we have been given by the universe saying, look at the impact we have on our environment. Look at the impact, what this has on our sociology, on our society. Look at the impact this is having on the arts. Look at the impact on so many different things. Look at the way we are all interconnected, not only in our city, in our town, in our country, in the world. We rely on each other, and we've got to start looking at things and considering people and understanding that it's all about a collaboration. We don't get anything arguing with each other and not talking and being divisive. We get progress is made when people come together, and that's what makes me so excited about looking at the line of moms, I think I was reading about today, all these different organizations coming together for lots of different purposes. But we're all working together for the same good, and something gives. It's what happened with the civil rights movement, for instance. You know, you get this mass of people that outweighs the other, and then things move forward, you know, and then there will be pushback, and there will be moving forward, and there will be pushback. And the idea is to stay connected, stay in the game, stay a part of it all. Don't let it go. You have to be there where it's happening, because everybody has something that they can contribute. Everybody, you're here on the planet for a purpose right now. You have something that you can give, whether it's helping your neighbor across the hall from you that needs your help. It could be something like that. It could be changing the society in a larger way, like a Mahatma Gandhi or a Martin Luther King. But everybody has something that they can give, and something they can give to the whole, the greater good that will be advantageous for us all.
No wonder. You should run for president. You really should. I'm serious. I'm serious. I and millions of other people would vote for you, Joe. Right?
Thank you.
Campaign manager many times.
You know, Joe, you started to mention Stars in the House, and you mentioned Rosie's show. I mean, Rosie raised $600,000, right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I mean,
Eric Bergen put that all together, you know, and it was just wonderful. But Rosie was the star, and it was just terrific. And it got the ball rolling.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's the great thing about the Actors Fund, too. Everybody needed something, and everybody tuned in and said, oh, my gosh, here's Rosie just chatting with all of our favorite stars. And I think all the stars wanted something just to say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sing from my bathtub, or sing in my bathroom, or sing in my living room, or just talk or tell a story. It was such a calming night to watch that. And none of us ever wanted it to end, and it raised so much money. And then, of course, you mentioned Stars in the House. How Steph and James do this every day. I know it can be watched at your YouTube channels, at Broadway World. I mean, they do this twice a day. Yeah. They've been doing this since March. I mean, what these two people mean to the Actors Fund. Both of you go on that one. Crazy, just great. Just crazy. And it was Stokes and Seth and James who came up with the name Stars in the House. And you're so proud of what they've done and what Dr. LaPuca's on. And, it's just really terrific. And as they expand Stars in the House to include regional theaters, to get the name of the Actors Fund and services out there across the country, just remarkable. And Seth, of course, the Actors Fund has a long history. I remember the first big event after 9/11, we had 30-piece orchestra on stage, and we did Dreamgirls with Heather Headley and Audra McDonald. I remember Audra getting on a bus coming from LA to come to New York because no one knew. We gave people the option of, hey, if you're nervous about coming into a theater, tell us. Everybody showed up. And you know who the person is that made the opening night speech that night was Brian Mitchell. Got us all going. Okay.
And Richie, this is what, getting back to that word again, this is what collaboration looks like. You know, you have all of these people coming up with all of these ideas. Seth and James came up with this fantastic idea for this show. And meanwhile, there's a bunch of artists saying, I still have to sing. What can I do? I want to do something to help. And then you have organizations. You have people like you, Richie, you've been so supportive of the fun, of the arts, of what we do. We're all collaborating together. And last, and certainly not least, last and maybe most, as I mentioned this, are the people who are donating. They're watching these shows. They love what they're seeing. And sometimes they're donating a lot of money. Sometimes they're donating $5. And that is amazing because nobody is working right now. And for somebody to come to watch the show and to say, yes, I want to give something, and to give whatever they can, it is so appreciated. They are part of the collaboration as well. And it's all of us together, again, working together toward a common goal, a common good. And I can't speak enough on the generosity of all of the donors that have been watching these shows, that have been sending the Actors Fund just checks from out of the blue as well. And really, I do think that, you know, with all the craziness going on in the world when we turn on the television, I really am of the belief that there are many more good people in the world that have great hearts and good intention than there are the other side. But, you know, that's boring news. You know, the other people make the news because that's much more exciting and fun and, you know, to talk about. But that's what we get to see, Joe and I get to see, is all of these incredible people coming forward and helping and volunteering and saying, what can I do? And I'd like to say right now to all of your watchers, listeners, the people that pay attention to you and what you're doing in the arts as well. Thank you to everybody who has been also a part of this collaboration and has given your money or your time or your talent to the Actors Fund and to the other organizations and the people that are trying to make progress and to do something good, leave some good food in the world, I like to call it.
Yeah. Joe, what has this all meant to, I mean, all the people who donate and continue to donate to the Actors Fund? I mean, you've been there since 1998. This is the love of your life. Every time I run into you, I mean, you've always got a smile on your face. You know, it's all about the fund. It's all about moving forward. What has this time meant for you with how generous people are with their talents and what people are donating?
It's inspiring. It's humbling. I'm so grateful that people recognize that what we do is important. And when we think about those $25 donors, those $10 donors, those people who maybe can't really afford to make a donation right now, but they're stepping forward to do that. And again, you know, we've tripled. Well, the number of donors is just staggering. But also what's happened is that there's been a renewed attention on what is a well-known organization, the Actors Fund. We've always operated rather quietly. Yeah. We're not the kind of organization that beats our chest to talk about how great the organization is. We always are just focused on doing the good work and the hard work of helping people. But people are looking at the organization a little differently now. And I know that one of our vice chairs, Annette Benning, has been inspired, appeared on Rosie's show, was on Stars in the House. It inspired her to go to some of her other friends in Los Angeles to raise some other significant amounts of money for the Actors Fund. So the reputation of the organization, because of, I think, the good work that's being done, has been burnished in a way, which is an opportunity for us to further expand our mission and how we help people. Because one thing we do know is that people working in the arts are just 1 gig away from the unemployment line, you know, or being evicted. So we have to make sure that we are doing everything possible to support everyone working in the creative arts. And that's what the Actors Fund is focused on. And I hope that this moment in time is kind of focused some more attention on the importance of what we do and what other artists do around the world.
One of the challenges too right now, I think, that we're facing is the arts sector, if you call it that, was one of the first to go out of business, you know, in huge numbers. and most likely we will be one of the last to come back
Yeah.
into business as well. And again, it's about all the other businesses that we feed. So we've been hit really, really hard, and that's why these donations and all the help we're getting from other places, organizations, institutions, individuals has been so incredibly important to us as well, because it's going to be a hard struggle to get people. We rely on people being together, whether it's in a museum, if you're an artist, whether it's in a movie theater, whether it's in a live Broadway house or a regional theater. It relies on people experiencing stories together and laughing together and having a shared experience. And now we're starting to find some other theaters, they're starting to do it, like in the Berkshires, there's a theater up there that's doing that. That's figured out, okay, here's one way we can try this. Let's see if this works. And I hope it's going to be wildly successful. But people also, creativity and collaboration, are getting their minds together and ideas together and saying, how can we make this work? So that's really important, that we keep that kind of spirit going on in the world and what we do as well, because I would love to see us all sitting back together in any theater, close to each other, you know, not in fear. That would be a wonderful place to be soon.
Because Stokes, you have a fundraising concert coming up Labor Day weekend, which is raising money for a few different things: the Actors Fund, for the Berkshires, for United Black Coalition. I mean, talk about, you're doing it in tent?
Yes, yes, they figured it out, and I'm taking zero credit for this idea. I'm
love
the
it.
performer at this particular thing. Greater minds than mine have figured out how can we make this work, and they're looking at it. How can we social distance? How can we make the traffic run in a particular direction? How can we have people feel safe and experience not only the concert that I'm doing? They're doing a show as well. I think I can't remember if it's late, before, after, or during that time. So we're all part of this grand experiment right now, all of us in the world right now. And again, I'm so heartened by people like that. They're looking at it and saying, how can we be part of the solution? Here we're giving the terrible problems. Okay, now what? Now what can we do? As opposed to saying, oh my God, this is terrible. Everything's falling apart. No, there are people that are actively going, okay, we have this, we can do that, we can't do that. How are we going to do it? This is what we're going to do. And other people collaborate with them and throw out other ideas, and then something like this happens. So I think that's how we're going to see this all kind of come back, is with that collaboration, with people continuing to talk and help each other.
And Stokes, the Berkshire Theater Festival is doing this, and the show they're producing leading up to this is a 6-person production of Godspell.
Oh, yeah.
Annette Benning told me last night, I didn't get a chance to tell you today, Stokes, but she has the playbill from when you did Godspell, maybe when you were a young performer in San Diego, and she's sending it to you.
Oh man, that's great. I was 16 years old at the Old Globe Theater, and I think that was the first production outside of Broadway that was done of Godspell, so I think I might have to sing something from the show.
Well, I know the concert is on September 5th at 8 p.m., and like I said, proceeds are going to the Berkshire Theater Group, of course, the Actors Fund, and Black Theater United. Just so you know, I can be your secretary. You have to be there on September 5th, just so you know that. But you know, I have had the time of my life sitting with the two of you. I have known you both since I got to the city. Stokes, I knew you since your Broadway debut in Mail. I mean, you know, Joe, you're always, like you said, the Actors Fund was always under the radar. But the point is, everyone has been missing the arts, not just the people who perform in the arts, but everybody around the world who goes to the arts, who goes to the theater, like you said, goes to a museum, is missing that live content and missing all of that. And that's why I'm really happy that people all around the world are donating to the Actors Fund. And like you said, donate $1, donate $5, because for every dollar one person donates, if 100 donate $1, that's $100. That turns into 1,000. Every little bit helps. The website is beautiful. Everything you're working on at the Actors Fund to help performers, and not just performers, but everybody who works in the arts can go to the Actors Fund and be helped, find help, go to the website, look at all the wonderful seminars and everything you're doing during this time period. Like I said, I adore you too. Thank you for dropping by Broadway World today.
Okay.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
very
us,
much.
Richard. This has been, keep up the good work and keep being a part of the solution yourself. Thank you so much.
I love that collaboration. That's the word I'm going to take away for the rest of my life. Collaborate and collaboration. Guys, stay safe, and we'll see you soon when the theater opens bigger and better than ever. Take care.
Absolutely.